What up guys, it's your boy Nathan back at it again with another video, another DIY pretty much on the S2K. I've done this already for the G80, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this for the S2000. And what that is essentially getting my radar detector hardwired in. So I like to drive around with the radar detector. You know, hopefully your state allows you to have one too. You know, sometimes when you're going a little bit too fast, you want to have that little edge over in case if, you know, there's a cop waiting for you and giving you a ticket. That's why I always run a radar detector. This is a Uniden R7. I'll do a separate video about this specific review itself, and it's directional, so it actually shows me where the radar is coming from. Having a radar detector definitely saves you a lot of money, especially considering how much these cost. But in the grand scheme of things, right, a speeding ticket will cost you just as much as a radar detector. You have multiple speeding tickets, you know, those are points on your record because it's a moving violation, and cost of you racking up insurance, you know, the speeding tickets is gonna far outweigh how much one of these costs from the get-go, right? So go ahead and invest in one of these, you know, either it's Uniden or you get yourself a Valentine, it doesn't matter. So some of the things that we're actually going to need to actually get this working, of course, the radar detector itself, right? I got this radar mount. It's built for the DFR series detector, so I tested it earlier. The mount does fit inside of Uniden R7. Should hopefully fit the mirrors. I don't know if you know, the mirrors inside the S2K doesn't have that much room to work with, so hopefully it does mount and the screws doesn't get caught onto the window. The last thing that we're going to need is a hardwire kit. I got the one with the actual mute button as well too, because I don't like to have to reach up, press on the radar itself just to mute it. So I'm gonna figure out where we can actually mount this. Yeah, we're gonna try to make this super clean. I don't like having the wires hang out. I know some people just use the 12-volt cigarette lighter plug and then having the wire dangling down from the front of the windshield. That's not my style. I don't like that. I like everything super clean. If you look at my G80 and my F80 before, right, no wires showing, everything all tucked and nice, and you know, making it look as clean as possible, because the cleaner it looks, you know, the less messy the car is, and that's, to me, is super important. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. From what it looks like, I don't think we're gonna need that many tools. We might need some pry tools to pry open the A pillar, running the wires down, but at least in the AP one, I believe there are 3 plugs that you can actually plug in. One that's constant power, one turns on for when you turn on the headlights, and one turning on for when the accessory, right, for that. So I'm guessing we could put it into the accessory one, so that way every time I turn on my car, my radar detector will go on. I'm also keeping in mind that I am going to get one of those dash cams. There we go. I'm gonna get one of the dash cams because I'm running the ThinkWare U1000 inside of my G80, and I don't like to have to take that thing out every time because there are a lot of wires that go into there, right? I have the radar hooked onto it, and then I have the rear view camera and the front camera, and I just want to leave it there for the G80 itself. So I'm thinking of getting another brand that I've used in the past before for the S2000, but we'll get there when we get there. So I have to keep that in mind if how I'm gonna wire those as well, and if I'm gonna use one of those direct plugins that I mentioned earlier for the accessory, right? We might could just split add a fuse into the dash cam later on in the future, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and use the accessory plug that's underneath the fuse box for the dash cam for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that started, and hopefully everything works out, and hopefully you guys learned something today. My GoPro is running out of battery a little bit, so just a heads up. I probably won't be able to record everything and take you guys through the process. So what I'll probably do is, at least for the important things, I'll talk about it and I'll show you guys, and then I'll cut the camera off, and then I'll go ahead and finish doing what I need to do, and then I'll record again after it's done. That way I can make sure that I could get a whole video out of this. The rear view mirror doesn't have that much space, so I'm gonna go ahead and test fit this adapter to make sure that it fits first. I did already test fit the mount, and it mounts directly onto the radar detector, no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to install this. It should be super simple. You just mount it onto the back, tighten all the screws down, and you're good to go. And once I have that ready, then we'll go ahead and do the hard wiring part, which shouldn't be that much harder. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, here it is, guys. It was relatively easy to put on, and you don't have to worry about the screws hitting the top of the mirror. They do provide 2 sets of screws. The mount is super short, and if you need longer ones, they do supply longer ones. I think it's just a matter of, like, you know, getting your mirror situated, because at least in the S2000, you know, like I said, it's a very short length mirror, so relatively tight, but it does clear it, and at least for me the position is perfect, super sturdy. I mean, it does have a little bit of play right here, but I mean, what you could do is put a little bit of foam, I'm guessing, in between here, and it should fix that issue, no problem. But to me, I don't think it's going to bother me that much, and if it does, like I said, I could just put something right here just to keep it down and angle it up a little bit more. And since it's going to be hardwired in, I could easily switch this between the S2000 and the M3. So here's what's included inside the hardwiring kit. Relatively straightforward. Here is just the mute button, and as you see, if we go down the line, there is a fuse right here, as well as a ground and a positive, right, terminal. And it does include a T-tap and some 3M double-sided tape, and this last wire right here is the remote wire that goes into the R7 itself. I'm not going to T-tap into anything, and like I said, I'm going to connect it directly to the accessory panel underneath inside of the fuse box, so it should be relatively straightforward. My guess, or what I plan on doing, is running it up here into this tunnel right here. Probably gonna have to take out this this rear view mirror and run it down the A pillar into the fuse box up here, and from here I'll probably drop the steering column real quick and mount it up here. If not, maybe right here, since I do have an open space. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Right here will be pretty cool though, because I don't have anything here, but I just don't know how much space is back there, and I don't know if that little adapter is gonna fit. Hopefully it does. If not, I could probably just have it hanging and then see if they sell like an adapter piece that I could just plug in. So let me figure out how to take this apart. I'm guessing it's just unscrew, and might just have to pry it open and run it through here and down the footwell into the fuse box. Once I figure that out, I'll show you guys how it's done, and yeah. Alright guys, so here's the progress so far. It was super straightforward, right? So what I did is, I still gotta tuck that side in, but essentially what I did was I removed the A pillar, ran the wires across here, down to here, and down to here, right? And from here, this is what I mean by this is how I'm gonna run it, right? So I already have a ground that I'm gonna ground it to right here. The fuse, right? I'm going to go ahead and run it into the fuse right here, up here. It's actually not a fuse, but it's hard to see, but right here, right? Make sure that you guys can see. So where this blue wire is, these 3 connectors are here. The blue wire is connected to the lights. The middle should be constant power, and the bottom one should be ignition switch, right? So whenever the ignition switch is on, the dash cam will turn on. So what I did was, it came with the male connector. I removed it and replaced it with a female connector. That way I could easily plug it in, and then afterwards I'll just ground it and then plug it in, and it should start then. And afterwards, just tuck all the wires in nicely and neatly, and just zip tie everything up, and it should be working. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end. I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and mount, at least put the mute button here for now. I think it's a good spot for me. At least I could see it through the steering wheel and whatnot, and yeah, let's go ahead and get that started. There's the finished product, guys. Here's the radar detector. Run across this. Like I said, I still got to tuck this one in. I'm thinking of just getting a clip and just clip in here, so the wire's out of the way, but it's nothing noticeable as of yet right now. Ran across here, down here, and then plugged into here. Plugged into the fuse underneath here. I decided to put the mute button right here, since I can actually see it from right here. So if we look at eye level up here, I can actually see it right here as I'm driving. But I mean, you won't ever need to see this lights, because you're gonna see it right here. So as you guys can see, it's off right now. Switch it on. As the car turns on, you can see the Uniden turns on, and if we turn it off, it turns off. So there's never constant power on there, so it turns on when the car's on. So there we go. Hopefully you guys learned something today and go out there and get yourself a radar so you guys don't get a speeding ticket, because those things cost a lot. If you guys like this video, remember to please like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys learned something today, and hopefully it was enjoyable and makes you want to go out there and install your own radar detector. Other than that, peace.